Listen guys, I'm bringing you something very easy tonight, something anyone can do for the whole family. This is my take on what we call Cajun foil packets. They're going to be a Cajun wrap, and listen, it's going to be with a little mid-Atlantic twist, because while you can mix a lot of different seasonings together and use only Cajun seasoning, listen, I'm from the mid-Atlantic, and you guys know how we do. I love Old Bay seasoning. I'll eat this on everything: chicken, potatoes, corn, French fries, seafood. This is my jam, guys. I'm trying to tell you. So make sure, if you're not from the mid-Atlantic and you don't know what this is, you need to go on Amazon right now and get hip to the Old Bay. This is the main seasoning we're going to use today. I'll let you know what I have here. I've already started cutting up some of my ingredients. This foil pack is going to be potatoes. I'm using red skin potatoes. We're going to have some corn that I'm cutting up. This is 2 pounds, because I'm making some for the whole family. 2 pounds of raw. Listen, I season these myself with some Old Bay after I clean them, after I de-shelled them, all that stuff, cleaned them all up, got those ready to go. So here's what we're going to do, guys. And also, I have some New Orleans style, Cajun style, andouille sausage. And I got to be honest with you, I have used this kind before. This is a Johnsonville. You can find it at your local market. But it's not my favorite, but it works okay in this recipe. And you guys know how it is right now. These stores don't have everything they used to have. So sometimes you can't find stuff while we're in this pandemic. So listen, I got to work with what I got to work with. So here's the steps. It's very simple. We're going to cut things up tonight. As you see here, I've got some garlic. That's going to be something that I squeeze into a stick of butter, which I have right here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that later. I'm going to make some garlic butter. I got some water getting ready. We're going to boil that. And listen, don't be afraid. This is another little Rev secret. Listen, I think this makes a little bit of difference here. Share some of your seasoning that you're going to use in the water. Let's season this water up a little bit. That way, while stuff is boiling, it is absorbing that wonderful Old Bay flavor. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to assemble all this. We're going to put it in our foil packet. We're going to wrap it. And then we are going to, right now we're preheating the oven to 350 degrees. We're going to wrap and bake this for about 30 minutes. It's going to be awesome. So let's do it. Guys, before we start chopping up our corn, I want to remind you of something. When we're cutting up our potatoes, we want to keep them about the same size. Because here's the thing. We're going to boil all this together for about 8 minutes. If you boil it too long, what's going to happen is or you have too many small potatoes, when you go to stir everything up later, it's going to turn into mashed potatoes. I've had that happen because I've cooked stuff a little too long. You want a little bit of firmness on those potatoes, and make sure that you take the time to chop those up all about the same size. As far as the corn, cut it up whatever way you like. You could cut it in thirds, is what I typically do. You could cut it up to a piece like this and then cut it in half again. However you want to do it, make it your own. That's how we do here on the Rev. All right, guys, now that we have all of our ingredients here ready to go, we're going to transfer those right over into the boiling liquid. All right, guys, now that we got that ready to go, let's crank the heat up and let's get right at it. While that is working, what we want to do is we want to slice up our meat to get it ready to go. Like I said, we're going to use a Cajun style sausage here. And again, slice it how you want. Slice it to, as long as you slice it the same size. I don't know if it's something that just gets on my nerves or not, but we want to make sure we're keeping everything about the same size. That way everything is uniform across the board here. All right, guys, our sausage is cut up. Our shrimp has been seasoned. And I want to remind everyone, when you buy these shrimp from your local store, they're going to come with their shell still on them. You want to take that off. You can save that shell for a stock or anything else if you want to, or you could just throw it away. I would just suggest if you're throwing it away in your trash can and you're not taking the trash out right away, you want to put it in a Ziploc bag because it will stink your house up. Don't ask me how I know. Just trust me, it can happen. Here's the thing. Matter of fact, look at one of these shrimp real quick. I want to show you something real quick. When we clean these, when we take the shell off, we want to go down. You could take a fork and go down this back vein here. And you could take out anything out of the, run it through water, clean it off. That's how, what I mentioned earlier, devein the shrimp. Just make sure they're good and taken care of. Most of them will come fairly deveined. Just clean them off, make sure they're good to go. And I like to season them up a little bit just to get them ready. So these are going to go together anyway here in the foil packets. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to our sausage. And I'm only going to do it just so I can start to mix things together, because here in just a few minutes, we're going to combine everything so that we can get a little even distribution. I only do it this way because my kids want to act a little special sometimes, and they don't want to eat certain things in the packet. So I have to be careful. Got to wash my hands real quick. I have to be careful what I'm doing. I do, basically the Rev does custom orders sometimes at my house. And the reason I do that is because I'm a scavenger eater. So when I walk past my kids' plate and there's stuff they haven't ate, if I'm not careful, I find myself eating it. And that's how the Rev expands internally, because I'll eat for economical purposes alone. Now listen, this is an amazing little device. I'm sure many of you have it. If you don't, you can pick one of these up from Pampered Chef. It's a garlic press. Most garlic comes with these have already been peeled. Normally they don't. They'll have an external piece on them. As a matter of fact, I'll get one that I know does, so I can show you how this thing really is designed to work. So what you do, this one, as you can see, still has the ends on it. You want to take this garlic press, squeeze that down, scrape the garlic out of it. Now the reason I'm using this and not just chopping the garlic, which you could chop the garlic. Many of you go to the store and you buy that squeezed garlic and all that stuff. Listen, do you, but I like fresh garlic. So the reason I do this is because I love the flavor of garlic, not always the texture, especially when it's chopped. And also, like I said, I have children. And so for you that have kids, your kids will like the flavor of food, especially sometimes when they don't know what's in it. This is what we call a Rev secret, where you get that flavor and your whole family loves what they're eating, but they don't know. And if they saw you just chopping in big pieces of garlic, some of them will be like, ew, what's that? And you're like, well, my kids aren't like that. Well, praise the Lord for you. You know, tonight, when I was thinking about what was going on while we were messing with these shrimp, and I was talking about taking the shell off of them. My younger son Jace made a comment about Joseph in the Bible. And Joseph, as we know, is one who was despised by his own brothers because his father gave him a special coat. They literally did him like a shrimp. They fought Joseph, beat him up, and stripped him of his coat. And here's what I want to share with some of you while I'm cooking today. When God puts favor on your life, someone's not going to like it. Anytime God favors you for anything, there are people that's not going to like what God is up to in your life. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't let them take your shell off. Don't let them take your coat off. Be like Joseph, if you can. Because eventually, Joseph stayed faithful until at the end, all of his dreams came to pass. So I'm talking to someone today that knows what it's like to walk in the favor of God. My thing for you, as I'm cooking today, the Rev wants to tell you, keep rocking your coat. Don't take your coat off for anybody. Don't take your coat off for the haters. Don't take your coat off for the people who don't like it. Your Father got you that coat. You need to rock your coat. because when favor's on your life, man, that's a good thing. You said, well, why'd you cut that up, Rev? Well, over here, as you see, I have been melting some butter. Once it starts crackling, you turn it off, is what I've done here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take, and I better use something different so Pastor Crystal don't get me. We're just going to take that garlic, put it right in the butter. That's one stick of butter I've melted down. We're going to mix that together, and oh my goodness. And listen, guys, for you that like homemade garlic bread and stuff, if you do what I just did right here and put that on some bread and like toast it in the oven, or I use this when I make garlic breads or garlic naan especially, and drizzle it over the top once the naan comes off. My goodness, it'll change your life. All right, guys, we're back. We've finished with our boil. We're going to strain this out. And because I have so much here, I'm actually going to split this up into two sections. And now what we're going to do is, remember that amazing garlic butter we made? We're going to spread the love. Now at this point, I prefer to add a lot more seasoning because I'm a spicy kind of guy. So we want to season this up real good with remember, the seasoning of your choice. And then we're going to take a moment and we're going to give these a nice toss. We want to toss everything together. And this is when it's very important, guys. Remember that you did not overcook the potatoes. Because if you did, right here, hope you like mashed potatoes, because you're going to end up with some. Now, at this point, you also want to decide who's getting what. So at the RevCooks house, different people like different things. But for the most part, we all want to get our fair share. What we're going to do, guys, load these up however you like. We're going to add everything to this. Now, another way you can do this, if you would like to finish this when it comes out, real fancy, is melt a little bit more butter. And also, like I said, melt some more butter. And maybe some chopped parsley or something like that you can put on there to add a little green to it. Whatever it is you like. What we're going to do, we want to fold this really good, guys. You do not want any steam getting out of this. So I like to roll it and then bring the ends in. Roll them up so no steam is coming out. And that's it. We're going to line these up. Again, we're going to put these in our preheated oven, 350 degrees for 30 minutes. I'm about to do that right now. Right after that, I'm going to show you the finished product. Like I said, about 30 minutes, you're good to go. Then I'm going to show you a little trick. Open this up, see the finished product. Hey everyone, now it's time for the unveiling. We're going to break these out. Guys, remember, whenever you are getting anything out of foil, we want to make sure that we're very careful because this has built up a lot of steam. So when it builds up a lot of steam, you can really burn yourself. So as you can see here, we're working with a finished product. Like to doctor it a little bit. With? Little extra spray butter, a little bit of parsley. Put that little finished touch on it. A little bit of thyme. And for those that really like the extra spice, gotta have a little bit more Old Bay. So guys, check this out. Simple, quick, easy. Everyone can do it. Thanks for joining me for another episode of RevCooks. Until next time, listen guys, keep it kingdom.